animal won't be seen tonight, so we can bring you a very special episode of The Gen X-Files. Welcome to The Gen X-Files. I'm Jim.
I'm Adam.
And today's show is all about
Hudson Hawk.
Ho, 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 baby.
I didn't realize I had never seen this movie.
Really?
And I also didn't realize how much I hated this movie. I'm more just sad about the fact that it seems like they just wasted a really good idea.
Well, okay. Full disclosure, I love Bruce Willis. He's one of my favorites. I've always loved him. Now, he's made a lot of stinks, and he's made a lot of good movies. But this one kind of hurts the most for me because it's his fault.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And so this is what happens when a star starts to believe his own hype or her own hype.
Yeah.
And creates this this mess that's just like, oh, well, I'll do this and I'll do that.
Yeah,
and
they think they can do no wrong.
Right.
And they are wrong.
And I was so surprised, and we talked about this yesterday, I was so surprised how much this feels like Howard the Duck.
Yeah.
Like in tone.
Like it has just no idea what it's doing.
Yeah.
Or what it wants to be.
Exactly. And we're confused, they're confused, and it sets up this tone of just, you're kind of uncomfortable the whole movie because it just doesn't, there's something like uncanny valley.
Yeah, you can't figure out what exactly it wants to say.
Yeah.
And because it's not, I was fully expecting from the research I did that it was going to be this weird, like, Looney Tunes slapstick, like, cartoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't come in until, like, halfway through the movie.
And it's not enough.
And then it's like nonstop, and it's weird. The whole thing's just weird.
Well, you got bodies blowing up along with, Looney Tunes punching. It's just, it's so uneven and bizarre. There's like 3 characters that are really fun to watch.
Yes.
I'd say Andrew
Brzezinski.
Brianarski, is that how you say?
Brianarski.
Brianarski?
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah.
Butterfinger, hilarious.
Yeah, he understood the assignment, as the kids say.
I would have liked to see just a Butterfinger movie. And I also think Richard E. Grant, Sandra Bernhard were having a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. I think they knew early on that the movie was going to be weird, and so they were like, whatever, let's have fun with it.
Let's just lean on in, and they did. And Bruce Willis is trying to be too cool for school. I think Danny Aiello does fine. He's just, because he's Danny Aiello,
Yeah.
He's always Danny Aiello.
Yeah. I mean, but it's the same with, like, Bruce. I mean, although he's a little uneven in this movie, but, like, usually you can get a pretty solid performance from him.
His whole performance is a smirk in this.
It's weird.
His whole acting choice is a smirk. And that's really as far as it goes. There's no real range in it. Even when his best friend blows up in the horrible, ridiculous Saturday morning cereal bullshit that they did, he's just like, no, oh my God. And then he's back to whatever, I just want a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And by the way, that wasn't a cappuccino at the end of the goddamn movie. That was an espresso. You don't chug a cappuccino like that.
No.
It's just like that kind of laziness makes me so angry.
There was so much in this that was so wrong.
It's just
so wrong.
Such a disappointment, too, because you're absolutely right. And just like with Howard T. Duck, there is a good movie in there somewhere.
Yeah.
And it might have been on track before, and we'll get into it with the whole Bonfire of the Vanities thing.
Yeah.
But it's like, I wonder what the movie would have been like if Willis didn't put his egotistical stank all over it.
I mean, I can only assume the movie would be better.
Couldn't be much worse. That's for sure.
It's really, really obvious when he, and we'll talk about it, but when Willis wrests control of the entire movie, it's really obvious.
Well, it's all just like shots of him walking, when he's coming out of prison looking so cool, too cool for school. And it's just, and then it's like, oh, and then he falls down when he gets out of prison. And what is that? It's just, there's the weirdest, again, much like Howard T. Duck, all the wrong choices, man.
Yeah.
All the wrong choices.
Yeah.
Ugh, well, let's get into it. Sorry.
Yeah. Take yourself back to 1991. February 26th, Tim Berners-Lee introduces World Wide Web, the first web browser, and a WYSIWYG HTML editor. So Tim Berners-Lee essentially invents the internet in 1991.
This whole month is kind of like also a history of the web. Didn't we do email the last time?
Yeah. Email much earlier around Howard the Duck. But yeah, Tim Berners-Lee, he was a British dude.
Blame him.
Yeah, well,
it's his fault that the country is destroyed. The world is destroyed.
The world is not doing well. March 31st, the first episode of Darkwing Duck broadcast by the Walt Disney Company airs.
Was that syndicated?
No, I believe it was on the Disney Channel.
So the Disney Channel, when did the Disney Channel start?
Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. I don't know.
Well,
I'm pretty sure it was around when I was a teenager, so I'm pretty sure, yes.
I thought you were a duckhead. I thought you were one of the Darkwing Ducklings, as they call themselves.
April 17th, Nirvana performed Smells Like Teen Spirit live for the first time at the OK Hotel in Seattle, Washington.
Nice.
It's just weird to me to think that this is around the same time that Hudson Hawk on May 24th is released in theaters.
Yes, grunge and Hudson Hawk were born around the same time.
They were like oil and water.
Exactly.
So in 1980, a young musician, composer, songwriter by the name of Robert Kraft was performing with his group, the Ivory Coast, at a restaurant nightclub in New York's Greenwich Village.
The dude makes a great mac and cheese, by the way.
I'm sure he does. I mean, he's also not Robert Kraft, the owner of the New York Giants.
Well, good, because isn't he?
Yes. Okay. I don't think he is anymore. He was not a good person.
But that Kraft was part of the Kraft Foods.
Yes.
And this Kraft part. That was the joke.
No. Yes.
Good.
Yes. In the midst of a musical number, Kraft found himself unexpectedly accompanied on harmonica by someone in the audience.
Not the most annoying thing in the world, by the way. Could you imagine?
No.
You, by the way.
I would be so annoyed. I would
throw
my guitar at whoever was playing the harmonica.
Or if you were just in the audience and all of a sudden I'd like pull out my
pissed.
my harp, and I'm like,
no.
Do you want me to get it? I can play
I hate the harmonica so much.
Like play some Stevie Wonder?
No.
Okay.
The man with the harmonica turned out to be bartender and aspiring actor Bruce Willis.
Hey, it's me. The reason why I learned to play the harmonica was because of Bruce Willis.
No, really?
Well, because of Bruce Willis and Stevie Wonder.
Oh, I guess I don't even associate the harmonica with Stevie Wonder.
Once in my life, it's very prominent, but that is
that may be the only time I like the harmonica.
It's a good harmonica because it was just quick speed bump. There's two kinds of harmonica. There's just a regular old harmonica, and then there's a multi-tone. I forget what it's called, but it has a lever where you can kind of switch octaves.
Oh, okay.
And it's a much more complicated. I have one of those. It's a much more complicated.
It's harder to play.
Oh yeah, way harder. It's like checkers and chess, and you probably like that one better because it's more like harpsichordy. Than it is harmonica-y.
Yeah, because I did not think that was harmonica at all.
Yeah,
I just assumed it was a harpsichord since he plays the piano.
Worst thing about harmonicas as a harpist. Is you blow out a reed so easily, and then the harmonica's ruined.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because they're all,
it's just
separate reeds on the...
Oh, in the inside.
Because the way you do it is you bend notes with your mouth. That's how you change everything.
Right.
And with a busted reed, then it just doesn't work. And it's easier to bend the notes on the higher octave, like an E harmonica. Because the whole thing with harmonicas is you, I think, step down. If you're playing like blues, it's like if he's playing blues and E, you play C or something. It's like
okay.
This whole thing.
All right. Well, hey, harmonica 101 with
there you go.
So the two men became fast friends, and Willis would often turn out for Kraft's engagements and join in the musical proceedings.
Great.
Yeah. Willis, who became intimately acquainted with Kraft's entire musical repertoire, was most taken with one song called The Hudson Hawk.
Weird. It makes it sound like he made love to his musical repertoire.
Kraft had come upon the concept one afternoon while walking the streets of New York. Kraft had read a newspaper article about a fierce wind that blew off Lake Michigan named the Hawk, and as he wandered toward the west side of Manhattan, bracing himself against a wind coming from the direction of the Hudson River, he thought,
"This must be the Hudson Hawk."
Yeah. Oh my God, that was actually very spot on, Robert Kraft.
Thanks.
That was good. When Kraft described the genesis of this song to Willis, the actor thought the music would be fitting as the theme for a classic movie character.
That would be fitting for the theme of a classic movie character.
And it probably still would be, but that definitely was not Hudson Hawk. Intrigued, Kraft often offered Willis the opportunity to collaborate on the song by writing the lyrics.
Oh, and he did.
Oh, he did. As these lyrics evolved, so did the characters of Eddie Hawkins and his best friend and mentor, Tommy Five Tone Messina.
Five Tone Messina. Why Five Tone?
Tommy Five Tone.
Because they're musicians?
I guess.
Okay.
For many years, the song remained just that, with both men vowing that if either were ever in the position to produce a film, it would be about the world's greatest cat burglar. In the ensuing years, Robert Kraft worked extensively in the recording industry, producing or co-producing such artists as
Linda Ronstadt, Dr. John, Bette Midler, Celia Cruz, Tito Puente, Johnny Mathis, Bruce Willis, Jimmy Buffett, or Jimmy Buffett, Don Henley, George Benson, George Benson's Breezin', Ozzy Osbourne, Southside Johnny, Albert Collins, Vonda Shepard, and Melissa Manchester.
His songs have been recorded by
The Manhattan Transfer, Bette Midler, Roberta Flack, Los Lobos, Diane Shure, Bruce Willis, Joy Enriquez, Dr. John, and Kermit the Frog.
In 1989, Kraft co-produced the Academy Award-winning song "Under the Sea," plus the Grammy Award-winning double platinum soundtrack of *The Little Mermaid*, along with co-authors Howard Ashman and Alan Menken.
Under the Sea.
I had no idea.
Neither did I.
Yeah.
Under the sea. I'm a crab.
Yeah, yes, that's how it ends. Yeah. Willis, in the meantime, had a hit television show with Moonlighting, winning an Emmy and Golden Globe Award.
Oh, such a great show.
Yeah.
I just rewatched that a few months ago, and
Holds up
yes, I mean, yes.
to a degree.
The humor and everything holds up. It's a great time capsule of the 80s, and if you also know the behind-the-scenes stuff,
Right.
it's really funny. And it's much more satisfying to watch it now because
Oh, yeah?
when you watched it at the time, because of the feuding of Bruce Willis and Sybil
Right.
Shepherd, we would not get Moonlightings.
Right.
We would be, and there is a running joke on the show about how many reruns we've had to watch,
Right,
and how long it's been
right.
since the show. I mean, they
Oh,
had to
wow,
make fun of
wow.
it themselves. It was like The Simpsons and Moonlighting were the two most aggravating shows.
Right.
At least The Simpsons was because animation hard.
Yeah.
You know, and they had to write so quick, you know, so
Yeah,
up to the
yeah.
deadline to keep it current. But this, just bad egos go bad.
Yeah, unfortunately. Willis became an everyman action hero with the success of Die Hard, and he became a family favorite with his voiceover in Look Who's Talking in 1989.
Yeah,
I always forget that movie exists.
most people do. It was a weird hit. It kind of brought back John Travolta for a while.
It did. That's right. One of his mini renaissances of his
well,
career.
Ironically, the series both resurrected and destroyed his
yes,
career because he did maybe too many Look Who's Talking movies,
Yeah.
and then he had a little, and then
And then it was only a few years later when he was
Tarantino,
yeah.
brought him back from the dead.
But yeah, all he could do was Look Who's Talking movies for about 5 years.
Look who's talking now. Look who's talking.
Look Who's Talking 2.
Look who's talking. S.
Yeah.
Roseanne was in Look Who's Talking too.
Really?
She was the other baby.
Roseanne?
Yes.
God, I don't remember that at all.
And then Look Who's Talking Now, which I think was the third one.
Third one, yeah.
That had the dogs talking, and I think
Yes.
it was Frank from Always Sunny.
Oh, really?
Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito.
Was one of the dogs.
One of the dogs. That makes sense.
Well, the baby's trying to lick me. I'm going to lick the baby. What are you doing to the baby?
Can't say I'm very familiar with the Look Who's Talking franchise.
Oeuvre. I've seen them all.
The funny thing is, I'm pretty sure I have seen them all. I just don't remember them at all.
I'm pretty sure I saw the first one in the theater.
Oh, really? Wow. Well, I miss Bruce Willis.
Big Bruce Willis fan.
Yeah.
And also, I was also a, and still am to some degree, John Travolta fan.
I remember the first one not being that bad. It wasn't great, but it was like at least
cute.
funny. Yeah, it was cute.
Cute.
And-
Yeah. It was cute. It was funny. The relationship between he and Crazy McGee Face, Crazy Cheers girl.
Oh God, I just had her name, Kirstie Alley.
Kirstie Alley, back when she was sane. And now
Yeah.
she's dead,
Well,
which is sad.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
She did.
she did
Oh my
die.
God, I totally forgot about
Same.
that. Oh my God.
But yeah, the first one was really cute because it was it was about them, the couple, really.
Yeah.
And the baby just talked. And it was just kind of
Yeah.
the thoughts of the baby's head. It wasn't
Right,
just this,
right.
a crazy adventure, which led us ultimately to Baby's Day Out. So it was just a horror
Which is
show.
the greatest movie of all time.
It really was.
Willis also tried to include a music career into his entertainment repertoire. He recorded an album of pop blues, The Return of Bruno, in 1987, which included the hit single Respect Yourself, featuring the Pointer Sisters.
Now, I bought that as a single on
yeah.
record, 45.
Yeah.
And then I bought the cassette tape of the entire Return to Bruno when it finally released.
Oh. That was, you were first in line, midnight at the record store.
I was wearing my Ray-Bans and my...
Your pants that go too high.
Oh, my God. Well, we'll get into that.
The LP was promoted by a Spinal Tap-like rockumentary parody featuring scenes of Willis performing at famous events, including Woodstock, which is clever. I think it's kind of clever.
Sure.
He released a version of the Drifters song Under the Boardwalk as the second single.
Oh, so bad. Under the boardwalk, under the sea.
It actually reached number 2 on the UK singles chart, but was less successful in the US.
Well, because the Brits have no taste. No taste.
That's true.
After the Beatles, everything went downhill for them.
That is very true.
And Zeppelin.
Well, yeah. He would release his second album, If It Don't Kill You, It Just Makes You Stronger, in 1989, to the loudest thud ever recorded on the Billboard charts.
Now, as admitted, I am a Willis superfan. I don't remember this at all.
I tried to find why it didn't work, and the reviews were just kind of like, we didn't need this, and that was it. And I was like, okay. Like, not if it was good or not. It was just kind of like, why am I writing this review? It was very odd.
Now, is this original songs, or is this another cover album?
I think it was all original songs.
Really?
So I believe that was part of the problem.
You know what's funny, too, is around the same time, Sybil Shepherd also released an album.
Oh, really?
To not be outdone by Mr. Brenna.
Oh,
but she did, like,
God.
Torch Song. She's actually a pretty good
got a
singer.
yeah, I'm sure she has a good voice.
Yeah,
But still, sometimes you don't need to be recording albums.
not everybody needs to be everything.
Yes.
Just be an actor.
Focus
some guys,
on the thing. Yeah.
Look, some people, hey, man, look at Pacino.
Yeah.
He's always acted.
Yeah.
He never directed, did he? Didn't do any writing, did he? I don't think so. Maybe some theater, but I don't
May
think.
have actually directed. For some reason, something sticks in my mind about
Okay.
him directing. But it's not like, I think it was one of those, hey, I tried it, and I'm like, eh.
Sure, yeah,
You know,
which
I
is
mean,
fine.
Yeah.
And you know what, Bruce? You tried it with the first album.
Stop. Just
Nobody
stop while
wanted
you're
the
ahead,
second
man.
Nobody wanted it.
You managed to get a number 2 UK single.
Yeah, just quit while you're ahead.
Let it go.
You know, it's somebody else's song.
Yeah, well, of course.
Again, love Bruce Willis.
Yeah, Willis would continue to have movie success with Die Hard 2 and found himself in the position to produce a Hudson Hawk movie, and true to his word, began developing it with Kraft for the big screen.
Great, that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, more power to him. I love the story. Needing the services of an experienced producer, Willis turned to Joel Silver, who the actor had worked with on Die Hard and Die Hard 2, and then Silver would hire Michael Lehman to direct Hudson Hawk.
Okay.
Lehman's first job in the film industry was answering phones at Francis Ford Coppola's American Zoetrope Film Company. Later, he supervised cameras on films that included 1983's The Outsiders, and he attended film school at the USC School of Cinematic Arts and graduated in 1985 at the age of 28.
Pretty old.
Yeah. Well, I had to look up the age because I was confused about the fact that his first job was at American Zoetrope, and I was like, was he 13 when he was working there? No, he was older.
He was 14.
Yeah, he was 14, 13 and a half. While at USC, he made a student film, The Beaver Gets a Boner.
Now, is that Beaver Cleaver?
I'm assuming. I don't know. I don't know any. I couldn't find it at all, so I don't know.
I made a short film in high school called Beaver the Cleaver.
Oh yeah.
And it was about Beaver chopping up and eating everybody.
Wow. All right. He believes the title helped get the attention of film executives who would later hire him.
Ah, gee, Wally, I got something in my pants.
What is this?
Ah, you little goof, put that away. That's pretty gross.
I better take a closer look at it, Beeve.
Oh, boy, Wally, that feels weird. Oh, my goodness.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Gee willikers, Beeve, what's all that stuff?
A short film by Lehman titled Ed's Secret Life, an unauthorized biography, was shown on Saturday Night Live. It was about Mr. Ed's post-career life. William Shallert, Mick Fleetwood, and Heather Locklear appeared in it.
Well, that's funny.
Lehman would make his... Also, could not find that. I thought it would be available somewhere, but could not find it anywhere.
It's so bizarre.
Which is odd, because it's SNL, and SNL clips are literally everywhere.
Well, it's also weird that where you could find the most obscure thing ever...
Yeah.
You know, you would figure now would be the time to find it.
The only thing I didn't is to get on like Peacock and look at the actual full episode it was in.
Yeah.
I didn't bother to do that.
You got to get on the dark web.
Yeah, get those secret sketches for SNL.
It'll cost you some Bitcoin to get that one.
It's the Mr. Ed lobby. They were keeping it suppressed.
Exactly. They don't want the truth to come out.
No. Lehman would make his first feature in 1989 with Heathers, the Christian Slater and Winona Ryder high school dark comedy.
Excellent.
I did way more research on this than I should have, and I'm really excited to eventually cover Heathers.
Yeah.
It's such a good movie.
Oh, yeah.
Such a better movie than
I
Hudson
love a
Hawk.
dead gay son.
So good. So good. After Hudson Hawk, Lehman would go on to direct Airheads in 1994, starring Brendan Fraser, Steve Buscemi, and Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
Yeah, also not a very good movie. The Truth About Cats and Dogs in 1996, starring Uma Thurman and Janine Garofalo.
Not a bad movie.
No, I remember liking it.
Yeah.
Yeah. My Giant in 1998, starring Billy Crystal and 7'7" NBA player Georges Mirasan.
Yeah, it was fine.
Yeah,
was-
it's Billy Crystal. It's around the time when Billy Crystal's career started getting really bad.
I was going to say it was the beginning of the end. Oh,
Yeah.
BC.
Yeah. Lehman mostly directs TV now, including 5 episodes of Larry Sanders Show.
Excellent.
Love that show so much. 3 episodes of Big Love,
Excellent.
which is a great show. 7 episodes of Bored to Death,
Super duper excellent.
which is a show I forget exists, and
too.
I need to watch it again. It's so good.
So good. Zach Galifianakis
Oh my
and
God,
Ted
so good.
Danson
And
that little guy.
the little guy
Hey.
who was in the band and is in
Schwartzman.
Jason Schwartzman.
Jason Schwartzman.
Wow. He also did 2 episodes of Dexter.
Great. As long as they weren't the series finale.
It's true. Although the last couple seasons of Dexter got really bad. But anyway, 15 episodes of True Blood.
Fun show.
Fun show. Always made me want to keep watching, even though it was not a very good show.
No, but it was one of those great soap opera-y.
Exactly. Like, literally, every single episode you're watching, I'm like, why am I watching this? This is really bad. And the last 5 minutes, I was like, well, I gotta watch the next episode.
Yeah, it's the epitome of Southern Gothic.
Oh my God. And the entirety of the miniseries, The Woman in the House Across the Street from the Girl in the Window.
Okay.
That was more recent with Kirsten Bell kind of spoofing the
Yes.
Girl in the Window movies. Yeah.
Very funny, and they played it straight.
Yeah.
They made it like a real movie. They didn't tongue in cheek it, which made it so much better. And
yeah.
oh my God,
It's available on Netflix. It's really funny.
I love her.
Yeah, Kirsten Bell's amazing.
She
Absolutely amazing.
can do anything.
Yeah, I agree.
Anything.
Silver brought in Stephen E. D'Souza, who quote unquote, saved the mess of a script that was Die Hard, as well as writing 48 Hours, Die Hard 2, Commando, and The Running Man, to write the initial screenplay from a story by Willis and Kraft.
He's Johnny 80s, man.
Oh my God, so hardcore! Like I totally didn't even realize he did Running Man.
Yeah,
But D'Souza was the grandfather of modern action movies, and the team was happy with the action comedy script that he produced.
Great. The guy's solid. I mean, look, you may not love all of these movies, but they were all hits.
Yeah, I did. I was part of a. God, Jesus, let me collect my thoughts. I was part of a Christmas short play festival, and I wrote a play around Die Hard, and Stephen E. D'Souza actually came and watched it.
Nice.
I met the guy. He's a really nice guy.
And then he sued you.
Yes, I'm having to move out. I'm sorry.
He was a nice guy.
No, he was a very nice guy. It was good. He's just he's like, I troll Die Hard stuff, and whenever I see something that's interesting, I come.
Oh, that's cool.
And I was like, all right. He brought his grandkids, and
Nice.
he was a really nice guy.
Grandkids, did they like it, or were they just on their phones?
Oh no, they liked it because it was a cross between Christmas Story and Die Hard, and so
nice.
it was like the kids really enjoyed it. So casting, obviously, Bruce Willis was cast as Eddie Hudson Hawk Hawkins.
Let's see, Hudson Hawk.
In 1990, Willis was in 4 movies. That's Adequate, a mockumentary about a fictional movie studio.
Don't remember that one.
I looked up the director. Did not recognize anything he had done. I'm pretty sure That's Adequate was the last thing he did.
Well, it was probably it's a funny title, but
well, it was about the movie studio was called Adequate Movies, okay. But it had a ton of A-list celebrities.
Interesting.
In it. He just would pick them up and shoot them for 20 minutes, and then. But supposedly, I've never actually seen it. I get the impression it's not very good.
Oh,
yeah. He was also in Die Hard 2, which made $260 million off of a $70 million budget.
it was okay.
Yeah,
Probably
it's definitely
the third best.
Yeah.
1, 3,
Maybe 4th
2.
best. I liked the one with Timothy Olyphant
Me
as
too.
the bad guy.
So 4th best.
Probably 4th best.
Yeah.
It's just a little ridiculous. It's almost a little. Die Hard's a little too much.
Too much in the airport.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
And it's got Dennis Franz.
Yeah.
Playing a cop.
Yeah.
Playing a jerk cop.
Oh, surprise! He's playing a cop.
I'm a cop.
Look Who's Talking 2, TOO, which made almost $121 million.
Yeah, that's the one where they brought in Roseanne to play the new baby.
I totally forgot that was Roseanne. He was also in The Bonfire of the Vanities, directed by Brian De Palma, who was forced to use Willis for the movie by the studio, but the movie bombed at the box office.
That book was so popular, man.
Yeah.
Written by Tom Wolfe. It was it was probably the biggest book of the year.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, I think it was the bestseller, for sure.
And it was a really interesting, great book. It was an indictment on the court system.
Oh, yeah.
And politics and Bruce Willis's character. It was Bruce Willis and Tom Hanks.
And Melanie Griffith, I think?
Somebody, yeah. And I think yes, Melanie Griffith. Yeah. You're absolutely right.
Okay.
So it was supposed to be the biggest movie of the year.
Yeah, because the book was huge and people were really excited about it.
But they made a lot of bad choices. The first having Morgan Freeman play the racist judge who was a white character, so it just didn't fit.
I got the impression from the little bit of research I did that the casting was not done terribly well for the movie.
Tom Hanks was so unlikable and so miscast.
Yeah.
And, the reason why Willis came across so much better than everybody else is because he wasn't doing some buffoonish character.
Right.
And he was kind of the, not the heart, but kind of the center of the film, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was one of the worst adaptations of a book I've ever.
I actually, to be honest, I don't think I've ever seen it. Because I think I saw a trailer and I was like, this just looks boring.
Yeah, it was. Well, we were all so excited because we had read the book. It was when I was in college, and my roommates and I both loved the book, and we were, we loved Bruce Willis and Tom Hanks and Morgan Freeman. I mean, it's got a stellar cast, and then it was just
garbage.
Horrible.
Too bad. 1991, along with Hudson Hawk, Willis was in Mortal Thoughts, starring his then wife Demi Moore.
Forgot about that one.
It did not look terribly good. Demi Moore supposedly said that she did the movie because she'd never done a New Jersey accent and wanted a challenge.
I don't think she rose to it.
Yep. He was also in Billy Bathgate, the gangster period film, which was another huge box office bomb.
Yeah, it wasn't very good. And that had Nicole Kidman and this young kid that was supposed to be the next big thing.
The Billy Bathgate kid.
Yeah.
And I don't remember his name, but he kind of disappeared.
Well, because the movie was not good.
Yeah.
It was just all hype and no substance.
Yeah. He was also in The Last Boy Scout from Tony Scott and Shane Black, which made money but underperformed at the box office.
That's probably my second. Well, no, because there are things that make that film watchable.
Yeah.
But there is not one likable. There's only one likable character in that entire film, and it's Halle Berry, and they kill her off right at the beginning.
Oh. God, you don't remember? I barely remember that movie at all.
The poor girl, and I always forget her name. She's big in the horror movies now.
Right.
Who played his daughter.
Yes.
It was one of the main reasons why I chose not to have children. Was her
Wow.
performance. I'm not even kidding, man. It was like that poor little girl was so hateable in that movie. It was just like, man, it was a crime what they did to that young girl.
Right.
It was just like, she was so gross. Just like cursing all the time and being super mean.
Yeah.
It was just bad.
So Hudson Hawk was Willis's only attempt at screenwriting, getting a story by credit for the movie. He did not attempt to do that again.
Oh, good. I mean, look, you got to learn your lessons sometimes, and at least he learned his lesson fairly early in his career.
Danny Aiello was cast as Tommy Five-Tone Messina.
Hey, I'm Five-Tone Messina.
Aiello and Bruce Willis had known each other for many years, dating back to a time before either had attained worldwide recognition, and
Bruce and I had wanted to do a film together for 3 or 4 years,
recalls Aiello. The actor was so enthusiastic about taking the role of Hawk's best friend and partner that he postponed the start of another film in order to join Willis and company in their globe-trotting adventures.
What movie was that?
I don't know.
Might have been Once Around.
Maybe. I don't know.
That's a really good movie. It's not even a guilty pleasure. It's a really good movie.
Good movie. Aiello's feature film debut was in 1973 with Bang the Drum Slowly, the baseball drama starring Robert De Niro.
It's really good. Have you seen it?
I want to say in college I think I did, but it's been a long time.
Yeah.
Aiello had a walk-on role as a small-time hood, Tony Rosato in The Godfather Part 2, ad-libbing the line,
Michael Corleone says hello,
during a hit on rival gangster Frank Pentangeli. This was the second film that Aiello and De Niro appeared in together. They'd appear in 2 more together, Once Upon a Time in America in 1984, and Mistress in 1992.
Ugh, Mistress. That was bad.
Yeah. Aiello was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor for his role as Sal Frangione in the Spike Lee film Do the Right Thing.
oh my God, man. He's so effing good in that movie. And that is Spike's best movie by far.
I'm excited when we finally do our Spike month.
Yeah.
Our early Spike month.
Get those pizzas delivered. Google.
Unfortunately, Aiello died on December 12th, 2019 at the age of 86 at a hospital in New Jersey following a brief illness.
Oh, that's sad. That's a good run, though.
It's a good run, yeah.
Man, he was looking old at the end, too.
Oh, yeah. I was surprised by how old he looked in this.
Yeah.
I was like, I remember him being younger. It was just, maybe it was just the gray hair and whatnot, but like, I was like, man.
What is it, 50s in
He
that,
was in
maybe?
his 50s, yeah. Andy McDowell was cast as Anna Baragali, the secret nun.
Yeah, well, not so secret nun.
Yeah. Isabella Rossellini was originally cast as Anna. When the movie was delayed because of scheduling issues, the part was recast with Marushka Detmers.
Who the hell is Marushka Detmers?
No idea. Nobody does either because she had to leave after a few days of shooting due to back problems.
Wait, is she in anything?
I didn't look. I don't know. Andy McDowell then replaced her. She actually, they called her and she had to fly out that day to get out to Rome to shoot her scenes.
There was some other movie where the guy had to make the decision and come the next day.
That was in, we did Howler Duck. That was the voiceover. Chip Zien had to do the same thing.
Right. But there was another movie with, I think, Jack Black or something where he had to, like, go.
Oh, yeah?
I don't know. I mean, we talk about a lot of stuff.
That happens. And it does. I mean, it happens a lot, unfortunately, in Hollywood. McDowell from South Carolina started as a fashion model, modeling for Calvin Klein. She has been a spokesperson for L'Oreal since 1986.
Yeah.
She still is. Her feature film debut was in Greystoke, The Legend of Tarzan, Lord of the Apes, starring Christopher Lambert as Tarzan.
I for apes to play, you Jane for me to touch on places, ha-ho-hee, chimpanzee.
The really sad thing is that it was Andie MacDowell's first movie, but all of her lines were dubbed by Glenn Close because her southern accent was considered too pronounced for her role as Jane.
Well, it's pretty pronounced, but it's part of her charm.
It is part of her charm. Why would you cast her?
Because she's pretty. It's the same thing with King Kong and Jessica Lange.
Yeah.
And it's the same, it's just they hire these beautiful ingenues as,
I like Andie MacDowell's accent. I mean, granted, it might not be right for Jane, but like...
Yeah, because Jane, I guess Jane was kind of an upper cruster in the
she was supposed
book.
to be British and upper crust, McDowell has appeared in...
St. Elmo's Fire, Sex, Lies, and Videotape, Green Card, The Player, Shortcuts, Groundhog Day, and Four Weddings and a Funeral.
Along with many other movies and TV shows.
Oh, remember Green Card? With her and...
her and Gerard Depardieu.
Gerard Depardieu.
Yeah, he's such a creep.
He's gross, man.
He's a gross
He's
creep.
just gross inside and out.
Yeah.
He's like the closest thing to a human troll.
Yeah, he really is. She will next be seen in Goodrich, a film starring Michael Keaton and Mila Kunis.
Okay.
Richard E. Grant was cast as Darwin Mayflower.
Okay.
Such a great series of names. They get so much better.
All of the names suck in this.
Yeah. Grant made his film debut in 1987 with Nail and I, the cult classic.
Oh my God. Every alternative person I know, this is their favorite film on Facebook or Instagram or whatever.
I don't think I've ever actually seen it.
It's really
good. I may have seen it in college. I don't remember.
It is good.
Grant has had supporting roles in films like...
Henry and June, L.A. Story, The Player, Bram Stoker's Dracula, The Age of Innocence, Portrait of a Lady, Spice World, Gosford Park, Bright Young Things, and Penelope.
Grant wrote and directed the 2000 film Wawa, loosely based on his own childhood experiences.
Wah, wah.
A screenwriter recommended he write a screenplay after reading Grant's memoirs of his With Nail and I experience.
Interesting.
The film took him over 7 years to complete and starred Nicholas Hoult in the lead role.
Have you seen it?
I have not. In fact, I didn't even know this movie existed, and now I'm kind of curious.
Yeah, same.
The funny thing is, his memoirs, he released as a book. One entire chapter is dedicated to Hudson Hawk.
Well, I bet. I mean, look, it's got to be an interesting experience.
Yeah. And especially with Richard E. Grant, because I think he just kind of stepped away and was like, this is a mess.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever.
I'm sure he and Sandra Bernhard were drinking martinis in the trailer, giggling.
Sure. Grant's critically lauded performance as Jack Hawk in Can You Ever Forgive Me in 2018 earned him Academy Award, BAFTA, Golden Globe, and Screen Actors Guild Award nominations.
He's a great actor.
He's a fantastic actor. He has 3 movies coming up: Death of a Unicorn starring Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega,
Interesting.
Nuremberg starring Rami Malek, Russell Crowe, and Michael Shannon, and Savage House starring Claire Foy.
Nuremberg sounds interesting. That's a good cast.
Yeah, it's interesting because it actually is about the Nazis and
Nuremberg trials?
Yeah. Not. I don't think necessarily. I think it's leading up to trials.
Oh, okay.
It is. Yeah.
I mean, how can you do a better version of the Nuremberg trials
yeah,
than
yeah.
was already done?
Sandra Bernhard was cast as Minerva Mayflower.
Oh, I love Sandra Bernhard.
I have a love-hate thing with Sandra Bernhard because in my mind I don't like her, but then every time I see her, I'm like, oh, she's actually pretty good. And then I don't see her for a while, and I'm like, I don't like her.
I just loved her acerbic, don't give an S attitude of Hollywood. And, she was a queer icon before that was even a thing.
Oh, yeah.
And, she's just never been afraid to speak her truth or her mind. If you haven't seen King of Comedy, it's an insanely good performance.
She started as a stand-up comic. She was a staple at the Comedy Store in the late 70s, leading her to have a supporting part on The Richard Pryor Show in 1977.
She's very popular. There weren't a lot of female comics back then.
Yeah.
And she, look, she's weird looking. Let's be honest. Gap tooth, she's got a weird kind of scrunchy face.
Yeah.
But she owns it. Like,
no.
She also was very much a diva before that was a thing. So it's like,
Her big break came in 1981 when she was cast by Martin Scorsese to star as stalker kidnapper Masha in the film The King of Comedy, for which she won the National Society of Film Critics Award for Best Supporting Actress.
Amazing.
I still need to say The King of Comedy. I don't know why I've never seen it.
It's one of my favorite Scorsese movies.
Oh, yeah? Mm-hmm. Bernhard was a constant guest on the Late Show circuit. Bernhard starred in her first one-person show in 1985 called I'm Your Woman. In 1988, she started an off-Broadway one-person show called Without You, I'm Nothing. With You, I'm Not Much Better.
Nice.
It was during the run of the show that she appeared with her then good friend and rumored lover, Madonna, in a 1988 episode of Late Night with David Letterman. The two alluded to their romantic relationship and staged a sexy confrontation to much publicity.
Yeah, I remember that.
They continued to be friends for several years, with Bernhard making an appearance in Madonna's film Truth or Dare, but their friendship ended in 1992.
You know why?
No. I cannot
tell
find
you
the
why.
information. Oh.
So here's the scoop. I don't know.
Okay. I don't know. I don't.
Look, Madonna got kind of weird.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of it. And also, I think, and this, don't quote me on this, but I kind of think that her friendship with Roseanne somehow
may have
messed up her friendship with Madonna.
That's possible. That's possible.
Who knows?
In 1991, Bernhard began playing Nancy Bartlett on the hit sitcom Roseanne. She appeared in 33 episodes between 91 and 97 and was one of the first actresses to portray an openly bisexual recurring character on American television.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah. Richard E. Grant and Sandra Bernhard got along very well during production and remain good friends to this day.
It seems like an absolute...
That does not surprise me in the slightest.
It seems like it was destined to happen.
Grant says part of the reason he and Sandra Bernhard got on so well was they both quickly realized the production was a mess and that the film was likely going to be terrible.
Oh, yeah.
So might as well just have fun with it.
Well, that's what a great attitude, I mean, it's like, let's just roll around on the ride, have as much fun as possible, and then when the film comes out and it's crap, people will see that we're having fun, and they won't blame us.
Bernhard will next be seen in Pamela Adlon's directorial debut Babes, starring Ilana Glazer and Michelle Buteau.
It's really funny. When I read that, I thought it said Pamela Anderson, and I thought, what?
No.
But Pamela Adlon made a lot more sense.
She's great.
She's from, she played Bobby in King of the Hill, and she had a really great show of her own.
Yeah, she was.
FX.
She was also in
Louis
C.K.'s first sitcom. She's great. That show that she was on. She technically created it. She directed a bunch of the episodes. It ran for like 5 seasons. It ran for a really long time.
Yeah, about her and her daughters.
Yeah. Don Harvey was cast as Snickers. Harvey began appearing in films in the late 1980s and has appeared in over 70 feature films.
Yeah, he's got such a face. I mean, it's like, oh, that guy's been in everything.
Yeah. One of his first roles was as a dirty cop in Brian De Palma's film The Untouchables.
Yeah, listen to our
we
Untouchables.
just covered. The following year, Harvey had one of his more prominent screen roles as Black Sox conspirator Swede Reisberg in John Sayles' 8 Men Out.
He was really good in that. Because he was one of the guys
movie.
that
that actually was doing it.
Yes, convinced everybody to do it.
Yeah. Harvey will be seen in the upcoming Netflix miniseries Black Rabbit, starring Jude Law and Jason Bateman.
All right, not too bad.
Don't know what it's about, but I like both of them, so curious to see what it is.
I like him too.
Yeah, he's great. He's really great. David Caruso, and he had the most worst death ever in any screen ever. Snickers, he got shot in the head with a
Oh,
bomb.
yes. And it blew up.
Blew up. It was awful. It was awful.
To comic effect?
Yeah,
Question
yeah. David Caruso was cast as Kit Kat.
mark?
Caruso credits his role as Topper Daniels
The cadet who nearly drowned.
in An Officer and a Gentleman in 1982 is what got him noticed.
Oh, it did. He was great.
Caruso then spent most of the decade in supporting roles in films, including First Blood,
Great.
which listen to our First Blood episode for more on Caruso. Blue City in 1986.
Not that great. That was with Judd Nelson.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
China Girl in 1987.
Not sure I know that one. Sounds familiar.
It does sound familiar. He was also in Twins in 1988. He's one of the bad guys in Twins.
Your favorite movie?
I love Twins.
I thought you didn't like Twins.
No, I love Twins. You say this every time we bring up Twins. I love Twins.
Oh, okay.
I was Dan
Junior's
DeVito.
the one that you
Junior's
don't like.
the one I don't like.
That's the one. Okay, I get those mixed
We
up.
have had that conversation like 4 times.
We're gonna have it 4 more times.
I know. I love Twins because I love Danny DeVito, and Arnold Schwarzenegger doing comedy is great
Oh, there's a baby in my belly.
when it's the right movie.
Oh, there's a baby in
Nope,
my belly.
nope.
Oh, you're my twin.
And now, granted, I haven't seen Junior in a long time, so it's possible I was wrong. Oh God! See, already you're triggering memories.
Oh, it's time to give birth to the baby in my belly.
So Caruso was notoriously difficult to work with. While filming 1991's Hudson Hawk, he employed method acting, refusing to talk to anyone on set because his character Kit Kat was mute, having had his tongue bitten off.
It's never explained in the movie.
Yeah, it's apparently people have decided in canon that he had his tongue bitten off.
Well, it also, strangely enough, this was the greatest experience any other group of actors had ever had working
Yes.
with David
With
Caruso.
David Caruso.
Because he kept his
Because
fat
he
mouth
did not talk.
shut.
I don't understand why David Caruso in this movie was always in costume. They never explained that.
No.
He was just always in costume.
Well, not just in costume, but in the exact same clothes that the person is wearing. So
did that constantly.
He was kind of a mime, I guess they decided, since he didn't speak. So he would mime Bruce Willis, and Bruce Willis hit him in the face. Although I say, when Bruce Willis hit him in the face, his reaction was really funny. He was
Yeah,
just kinda like, I deserved it.
Yeah.
And then, he was dressed just like Andy McDowell.
Yeah.
In the red dress and doing everything she did.
Random. And then when he died, he was dressed as like a statue.
Right. And all the cards, it's like...
I just love that. That was actually a good scene when he died and all the cards spilled out. I was like, oh, in the little toga. They were hiding in his little toga somewhere.
So he had a lot of quads, and he gives her, I always liked you.
I always liked you. Yeah. After appearing in 232 episodes of CSI Miami, Caruso quietly retired from acting and became involved in the art business.
All right. Well, good. Good riddance.
He also, the meme of CSI Miami, where he always puts on, I think it's, he put on the sunglasses?
He takes them off.
He takes them off?
Or he puts them on.
I don't remember.
He's a sunglass
But he did it
actor.
for the very first time in this movie.
Yeah.
Him and Bruce Willis did the thing, and he does it in the background. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
That's actually in CSI Miami where they got the idea for him to do the, yeah.
Hey, you guys remember when I did that movie, Hudson Hawk? A great movie. I was Kit Kat. I was in character the entire time. Didn't say a word for 3 months. Yeah. Look, I take my sunglasses off in there. What if I take my sunglasses off in this? And it's my thing.
It's going to be my thing.
Will that get you to shut up, David? Yeah. Then we'll do it.
232 times.
Wow.
Andrew Bryniarski was cast as Butterfinger. Bryniarski? I think it's Bryniarski. Bryniarski is a muscular 6'5" gentleman, and he's been typecast as such.
Well, there's not a lot else he could play.
Yeah. In 1991, along with Hudson Hawk, he was also in Necessary Roughness.
Fun movie.
Such a guilty pleasure. In 1994, he played Zangief from the abysmal Street Fighter starring JCVD.
Oh, yeah.
Which was actually written and directed by Stephen E. D'Souza.
Nice.
Which almost ruined his career.
Should have.
He played Leatherface in the 2003 Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake and its 2006 quote-unquote sequel, which is actually a quote-unquote prequel.
Yeah,
And
not
quote-unquote unnecessary.
Right. Not the worst of these horrible soulless remakes,
Yeah, but it still wasn't.
but still wasn't. Because at least they tried to give
Yeah.
it the vibe of the first one. But
It still wasn't, yeah.
the only movie that I've ever seen that came close to that vibe was Triple X.
No, yeah. Which is not, they're not trying to remake anything.
No, but
it's
they
just, yeah. But I mean,
fully
it's,
got the vibe.
No, that's Ty West, man. He's brilliant.
Got that 70s massacre vibe, baby.
Yeah.
Ooh, Bomb. They have new ones coming out.
Yeah. Maxine? Is that what it is?
Or is that the second
No,
one?
that's the second one. There's another one coming out.
Right, that has Giancarlo Esposito.
That's right. His last acting credit is in 2015 in the supernatural slasher film Some Kind of Hate.
Did he die?
No, he's still working. It's just he hasn't been in anything.
Andrew Biniarski is one of the absolute best things in this movie.
Totally agree.
He got the memo and he got the part.
Every line of his is so spot on
Yeah.
and so brilliant and so funny.
And the getting rid of the tooth was a stroke of genius. And he was hilarious. Hilarious
he was
in
great.
this.
He was really great.
In the tiny time that he had. It's the thing about these really bad movies. There's always going to be a few things that, even like in Howard T. Duck,
Yeah.
you have Leah Thompson shining. There's always going to be somebody that'll shine through.
Right.
And this time, Andrew Brinarski.
Yeah. I mean, I'm hoping he's still acting. I'm hoping he does more. Lorraine Toussaint was cast as Almond Joy. Toussaint's first feature was...
I mean, not her, just
No, I know.
it's the names of the
names. I know. Toussaint's first feature was Breaking In from John Sayles, starring Burt Reynolds.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Which I've never seen, and I'm kind of curious because I love John Sayles. I love Burt Reynolds.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah. Toussaint has had a long career in the movies, but has appeared in countless TV shows, including 88 episodes of Any Day Now,
Okay.
44 episodes of Saving Grace.
Is that the sitcom with Grace? With
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I actually think yes. I
The
think she
woman-
played the neighbor.
Yeah.
I think I can't remember her name.
But she doesn't
Grace
do anything
something.
anymore.
No.
Grace Butler?
Butler? Yes,
Yeah.
that sounds right.
I think I know it's Butler.
No, it was Rhett Butler.
Was it Rhett Butler? No, Rhett Butler's from...
It was a great
Frankly.
sitcom with Rhett Butler. They literally dug up his bones and stuck him in this, and they were like, "Go,
Clark
situational comedy. You have to pretend that he's not dead."
Frankly, Grace, I don't give a damn.
Yes, I think it was Grace Butler. I think you're right. I do think it was
Yeah.
that sitcom.
She ended up having some
Because I know
alcohol
I've
issues.
seen that. Oh yeah, I've seen that show, and I'm pretty sure that's where I remember Lorraine Toussaint from. Because I think she played like a neighbor or a friend of hers.
Now I got to know if Grace Butler's dead or not. Did she die?
No, I think she's still alive.
Career died.
Oh yeah. Lorraine Toussaint was also in 44 episodes of Rosewood. She was also in 56 episodes of The Equalizer, the show that's still running, starring Queen Latifah.
I've been meaning to watch that.
That show has had 4 seasons already. And I can't believe she hasn't been in all the episodes. She was in 56 episodes of it. Like, that's just a lot of that show. I feel like it just started.
I like her name, Lorraine Toussaint.
She's great. She also appeared in 12 episodes of Orange is the New Black, winning a slew of awards for the role, including a Screen Actors Guild Award.
Okay. That's where I remember her
Yeah.
from.
She'll be seen in the upcoming film Silent Retreat, starring Isabella Rossellini, Dennis Haysbert, and Jack Whitehall.
I wonder if she's going to be like, hey, you were supposed to be in Hudson Hawk, Isabella Rossellini, but you weren't. And so, Andy McDowell did the part. You saved your career.
Yeah. Frank Stallone was cast as Caesar Mario because so they could make the Mario Brothers joke. He is the younger brother of actor Sylvester Stallone and has written music for Sylvester's movies.
Hey, he's a really good musician. I wanted to do the Rocky, but it wasn't the time for him yet. You know what I'm saying?
Haven't heard from Sylvester Stallone in a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. I've been doing my show with my daughters.
Oh, that's right.
The
That's
reality
right.
show.
The reality show.
Tulsa's coming back.
Frank's song Far From Over appeared in the 1983 film Staying Alive and was included on the film soundtrack album. The song reached number 10 on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100 chart and received a Golden Globe nomination for Stallone,
Good for him.
while the album itself, consisting of Stallone and various other artists, received a Grammy nomination.
Okay, there you go. Vindicated.
Wow. Stallone played himself in a recurring role on the short-lived sitcom Movie Stars in 1999, alongside fellow celebrity siblings Don Swayze, brother of Patrick, and Joey Travolta, older brother of John.
Frank Stallone is what Sylvester Stallone would look like if he didn't have that
Horrible.
that thing happen to him at birth,
The accident,
where his
yeah.
face got all mushed.
They crushed his head, essentially.
Look, I got the career. You got the looks.
Yeah. Stallone was the subject of repeated non-sequitur punchlines delivered by comedian Norm Macdonald during the Weekend Update segment on SNL.
I miss Norm Macdonald so
my
much.
God, he's so brilliant.
I keep getting caught in these, get caught in these rabbit holes of interviews with him or by him.
Yeah.
My favorite thing about him over any other comedian in the world was that he would tell these horrible jokes, but they would take like 8 to 10 minutes to get. Like he would do it on Conan, and Conan would be like,
yeah.
You know, are we ever going to drive this home? You know,
yeah.
So the guy comes down and he says, hey, look, you know, you got to talk about my wife that way. And it'll just go on, and then it'll just be the worst punchline, but it's the funniest thing because you've waited the entire time.
Right.
And even though it's a horrible joke, it's still hilarious because he loved to troll people.
Oh, yeah.
It just was such a joy to him, and he was one of the best.
Yeah. On Instagram, Stallone said he enjoyed the jokes and expressed regret that they were never able to work together before McDonald's death from leukemia.
What are you going to work on with him, Frank?
Frank would work with anybody.
That would work with anybody.
A documentary directed and produced by Derek Wayne Johnson entitled Stallone, Frank, that is, about the life, career, and survival of Frank Stallone was released in 2021.
Okay.
The documentary features interviews with
Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Billy Zane, Geraldo Rivera, Joe Mantegna, and many others.
No idea this documentary exists. Kind of curious to see what it is.
Oh, it's about me, Stallone, Frank. Not Stallone, Sly. I gotta put in the shadows a lot because I got a good mouth and I can speak in a very elocuted way. I'm elocuted.
Yeah, you're good at the eloculating.
You want to hear me sing?
No.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, though. James Coburn was cast as George Kaplan, the head of the Candy Bar Club.
Sure.
I really still am not even really sure what was going on in this movie.
Well, he did explain.
Was he part of the CIA?
Yes.
Okay.
And he did explain that they had other code names before, and then they went to Candy for some reason.
Colonoscopy or something? Or...
Oh, yeah, no, she was like, our old code names were diseases, and it was hard to be known as chlamydia for a year.
Yeah, which is so stupid. Why? Coburn suffered from severe rheumatoid arthritis and appeared in very few films during the 1980s, despite continuing to work during his final years. The disease had left Coburn's body deformed and in pain.
His hands were really messed up.
His hands were bad. Coburn resumed his film career in the 90s, where he appeared in supporting roles in
Young Guns 2, Hudson Hawk, Sister Act 2, Back in the Habit, Maverick, Erasia, The Nutty Professor, Affliction, and Payback.
His performance as Glenn Whitehouse in Affliction in 1997 earned him an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor.
He was amazing in that. And
so good.
And so was Nick Nolte.
Nick Nolte was good. It's a great movie. It's a really hard to watch movie, but it's a very good performances.
Good friend of mine worked on Maverick in the camera department, and he said that Coburn was like the nicest, greatest guy. He would come hang out with him. They'd ask him about old Hollywood stuff, but he said, man, his hands were so twisted, and he was in so much pain. The guy was a trooper. Like he just pushed through the pain like nobody's business. And it was just watching. I always had to hide his hands because they would just, as the day went on, they would even get more and more twisted. It's just the
you can see it pretty badly in this a couple times where he's and it's not. The thing is that it got really bad in the early '80s because he had a long career before all this.
Oh my God!
He started in the '50s,
like Flynn, baby.
Yeah, and he stopped acting.
Sorry, in like Flint.
Not
Flynn.
He stopped acting, and I think it's because of the pain. And then I think it got to the point where people were like, well, you're still good. Like, come act. And imagining him having to work through that pain and still give these amazing performances, brilliant. Yeah. Brilliant actor.
He loved it. He loved the craft.
He did. And everything I read is that he was just the nicest guy in the world.
Oh, yeah.
He died from a heart attack at his home in Beverly Hills on November 18th, 2002 at the age of 74.
Too young.
His wife, Paula, said that he died in her arms when they were listening to music together. She was actually 48 when he died, and less than 2 years later, she died from cancer.
She put a pillow slowly over his face as they were listening to the song. So it gave her cancer.
Yeah.
Murder will give you cancer, Adam.
It's sad. It's just sad.
It's super sad.
All of it. It's
That's
like,
why I have to make jokes because
I'm not
comfortable with sadness.
I agree. So the film was a grandiose spectacle with filming locations in Los Angeles, Brooklyn, Budapest, London, and Italy. They actually shut down the Brooklyn Bridge for 5 nights in a row to film the sequence of Willis's crazy ride on the gurney over the bridge.
Yeah, that was so worth it.
It was funny because that thing was actually motorized and someone controlled it like a race car.
Oh, nice.
So that's why they ended up doing the the sheet over it so you could cover up the motor underneath.
Oh.
Yeah. 24 hours after filming ended in Brooklyn, they set up camp outside of Rome. While there, Willis got a phone call from Mark Canton, a Warner Brothers exec, telling him that test screenings for the Bonfire of the Vanities were
Through the roof.
especially for Willis's character, so they were recutting the movie to give Willis more screen time. Willis was overjoyed, but when Joel Silver found out, his reaction was not so joyous. He said that Mark Canton had just ruined their movie because it was going to go to Willis's head, and surprise, it did.
Silver knew what he was talking about, man, because
yeah.
he had dealt with a lot of divs before.
Oh, yeah.
Devos,
A
not
lot of
divas.
divas, yeah.
I made that up. But yeah, I mean, there is nothing more destructive than a actor with hubris
Yeah.
and success.
You give him an inch, he'll take a mile.
Once you say, whatever you want to do, Bruce,
Yeah.
it's your movie,
Yeah.
you've lost.
Yeah. Willis brought in Daniel Waters to punch up the script. Daniel Waters had written Heathers, which was a flop when released, mostly due to New World Pictures not getting behind it as it was falling in bankruptcy. Willis loved Heathers, and it was part of the reason he lobbied to have Lehman direct Hudson Hawk.
I agree with him.
Heathers is a great movie. After Heathers, Waters worked on The Adventures of Ford Fairlane, starring Andrew Dice Clay, which is it's funny. My friend Damien and I, we would always go back, because when he's falling off the Capitol Records building, all he's doing is, my hair, as he's falling and he's just spinning.
My hair.
My hair.
Hickory dickory dock.
Yeah, we would-
The mouse went up the clock.
Anytime one of us would touch like our hair, immediately the other person would be like, my hair.
You gotta go my hair. Go.
Because Clay was controversial, Waters wanted another movie lined up before Ford Fairlane came out.
Smart move.
Yes. Despite this, Waters turned down Silver and Lehman to write Hudson Hawk. Waters said,
When you genuinely don't want to do something and it's more than playing hard to get, people throw so much money at you, it's crazy. I was like, you really don't understand. I don't want to do this. Joel would say, okay, we'll double it. I took a look at the material again, and Joel said, I could have free reign. Bruce Willis said he wasn't interested in doing a traditional action movie. He felt his character for Moonlighting had never been in a movie. He wanted to bring some humor to the proceedings. I started to see this as a chance to do my kind of action movie and take it way out there.
and man, did they take it way out there.
Should have brought it back a little bit, buddy.
Yeah. The movie studio was growing increasingly nervous about Willis taking control of the movie.
Hey, guys. Look, we don't like anybody but us, executives,
Yeah.
being in control.
Well,
Unless it's going to make us money.
yeah, I mean, you technically had a chance to stop it, but you didn't.
That was me.
Yep. There had been a number of incidents with Willis essentially ignoring Lehman and telling the crew to do it his way. So the studio sent over D'Souza's wife, all expenses paid, to encourage him to take control back of the film from Willis.
Well, first of all, that's really embarrassing or weird.
Yeah.
Get your wife. Honey, you got to take control of this movie.
Well,
I mean,
no,
like,
it's not. It's not. Well, it's not the way they were essentially bribing D'Souza to try to take control back of the movie
by letting him hang out with his wife?
by paying for his wife to come to Rome.
Look, we'll let you hang out with your wife.
Give him a free Italian vacation, man.
Okay.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that Steven D'Souza probably would have done it anyway, but Silver refused to go along with it, saying,
Bruce hired us. It's not our job to tell him he can't make the movie he wants. It's the studio executives, and the studio executive is coming over here tomorrow.
But the exec was a chicken shit and couldn't pluck up the courage to tell superstar Bruce Willis to stop ruining the movie.
Well, that's not quite true. Look, I got arrested for something I don't want to talk about.
Okay.
It has something to do with altar boys, but not what you're thinking.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't able to actually talk to him because I was in jail.
Supposedly, the way the story goes is that the first day they were shooting a scene with no dialogue, and the exec was like, well, I can't interrupt filming. And so then the next day, he was like, well, I got all these phone calls to make. I can't do it now. And then the third day, he was like, oh, there's an emergency. The funny thing is that he claims he was talking on the second day, talking to Warner Brothers, and like, I got all these meetings, I got all these phone calls. And then Steven E. D'Souza was like, there's no way, because of the time difference between Rome and L.A., they would be on the phone at 3 a.m. Like,
It's that important.
Yeah. But then the third day, he was like, I gotta go. And then they just never talked to him.
What a chicken.
Yeah, no wonder why and then they wonder why the movie fails. I mean, it's just...
It's the weird fear. Hollywood is a fear-driven business
Yeah.
in the upper echelons. Like if you're a executive or a head of a studio, or if you're in that part of the business part of the business, the non-arty part, you're just living in fear the entire time because it's like the only job where one misstep can get you fired, and there's 80 people just champing at the bit trying to get your job, waiting in the wings. It's not a very good business to be in.
Willis's changes included the thief singing for the timing and using a man and a woman as the villains. They originally wanted Joss Ackland to play the villain, as written in D'Souza's original screenplay, which would have been fantastic.
Yes, he was the villain from Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah. Doesn't he have that weird egg coming out of his head? Yeah.
Get on the plastic.
Lehman had the idea to make it a woman instead of a man and called up Audrey Hepburn, who was extremely interested.
Now, that would have been interesting.
That would have been really interesting.
Yes.
When delays forced her to drop out, Willis suggested making the villains a married couple.
What if we make them a married couple?
Which actually may have been the best choice because that then brought us Richard E. Grant and Sandra Bernhard.
Who weren't very effective in their parts, but had a lot of fun doing it.
They were fun to watch.
Yes, but there was nothing scary about them.
No, they were just weird and way out there.
Yes.
Between Willis's demands, Silver's extravagant shooting style, and the insane cost of sending film crews around 2 continents, the budget shot upwards of $65 to $70 million.
Oh, man, that's a lot back then, too, especially for, like, an action comedy.
Yeah. Silver brought in Michael Kamen to write the score, who partnered with Robert Kraft. It was the 7th consecutive film scoring assignment for Michael Kamen for producer Joel Silver. The other films include Lethal Weapon, Action Jackson with Herbie Hancock, Die Hard in 88. Lethal Weapon 2 in 89. Roadhouse in 89.
Roadhouse.
I know there's a song associated with it. I don't remember what it is. Die Hard 2 in 1990. More Christmas. When the movie was released, critics were harsh.
They should have been.
Roger Ebert and Gene Siskel gave the film a 2 thumbs down review on their At the Movies TV show. Ebert described the film as a complete disaster.
Every line starts from 0 and gets nowhere.
Siskel's review was marginally more positive, saying that Willis had a few funny moments and furthermore, that the film might have been salvaged if Willis and Aiello had been the only zany characters against a cast of straight men, as opposed to a cast full of overacting where everyone tried too hard to make each line funny.
Now that's... I agree with that.
Astute.
I do.
Yeah.
It is very astute. I kind of think it's the other way around. I think Willis and Aiello should have been the straight men for all the crazies.
I agree.
Because the actors themselves were really good at that. I think you can't make everybody crazy, and then you have to have rules and parameters within your story.
Yeah,
you can't blow somebody up in a bloody mess 1 second, and then have James Coburn hitting you like Popeye and Bluto.
Oh yeah, and Bruce Willis like the constantly flapping up and down.
Yes, the old
Oh my
Looney
God, how do I
Tunes.
stop this?
Yeah.
It's like, what is going... That was the moment where I was like, wow, this went so off the rails.
It jumped the shark.
Hardcore shark. Mark Kermode, a British film critic, met Richard E. Grant much later after the release of Hudson Hawk, and he told Grant that he was one of the few critics who appreciated the movie. Grant then responded to his face,
It was a stinking pile of steaming hot donkey droppings, and you are an idiot. He's absolutely right.
probably the best description of this movie ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. The film performed poorly in the United States, partly because the film was intended as an absurd comedy, yet was marketed as an action film 1 year after the success of Die Hard 2.
It was a bait and switch.
Oh, totally.
And comedy?
It grossed only $17 million in the United States and Canada. $17 million.
Honestly, I don't think I saw this in the theater.
Seriously? Mm-hmm. No.
No, the reviews were so bad, it looked so stupid that I did not see this in the theater.
Wow. I might have to take away your Willis card.
Look, man, there's limits.
I understand. Internationally performed much better, grossing $80 million for a worldwide total of $97 million.
Yeah, well, you know. That's the French for you.
By the end of its theatrical run, the film had lost the studio an estimated $90 million.
Good Lord.
The film performed well on home video, and by 1995, started to pay out to profit participants, including Bruce Willis.
I got $3.
Yeah, I got something. Yeah. It received 3 1991 Golden Raspberry Awards for director for Michael Lehman, screenplay and picture, with additional nominations for actor Bruce Willis, supporting actor Grant, and supporting actress Sandra Bernhard.
Now, I don't agree with those two.
I disagree as well. Although they didn't win, so obviously they're not the worst.
Right, but they weren't. They were the ones having fun. Like, I think
they made the movie more watchable.
Willis, not Willis, Jesus. I think Andy McDowell, Danny Aiello, and Sandra Bernhard and Richard E. Grant, they come away with this unscathed.
Yeah, I agree.
Everybody else, he here effed.
Yeah. Actually, a video game based on the film was released in 1991 under the title Hudson Hawk for various home computers and game consoles.
Ooh.
It was a side-scrolling game where the player, as the Hawk, must steal the Sforza and the Codex from the auction house and the Vatican, respectively. Then Castle Da Vinci has to be infiltrated in order to steal the mirrored crystal needed to power the gold machine.
Would you rather be a fish? A fish is an animal who lives in the sea.
On his journey, Hawk must face many oddball adversaries, including dachshunds that try to throw him off the roof of the auction house, janitors, photographers, killer nuns, and a tennis player who is presumably Darwin Mayflower.
Also, don't kill a dog.
Yeah.
Not even if it's comedy. Not even if
Yeah.
the dog's a jerk. Don't kill a dog.
Yeah, that was not a fun.
You don't kill a dog.
No.
Never.
No, it was weird. The dog didn't know it. He was just trying to protect his masters.
Bun, balls.
Frank Welker actually did the quote unquote voice for the dog bunny.
That was the best acting in the entire movie because I thought it was actually a dog.
It's really interesting because I had no idea that Da Vinci was the focus of this movie.
Oh yeah.
And I just went there and I'm not sure how long it'll be there, but down at the Natural History Museum in L.A. At the Science Center, there is a really wonderful Da Vinci exhibit right now.
Nice.
Where they took all of his sketches, yeah, and those stuff and made prototypes of things.
Oh, nice.
Not full size for the most part, models, but most of them he did not make, unlike what they said here in the movie.
There's no museum in Italy with helicopters and planes and gold making
stuff
machines.
that he made.
Alchemy.
That did not happen. He didn't. Although the list where they said, "Oh, he did the prototypes of the bicycle and all that," that was all true.
Sure.
It was all just theoretical. The man had a restless mind and could not stop. And the weirdest thing is that he wrote from right to left backwards. He wrote mirror writing for everything. It was
code.
super weird. It's just backwards. You could put a mirror to it.
It's it needs to be more complicated. I'm bored.
Unless you think Italian's code. But that's possible.
I just want to point out that the actor who played Leonardo da Vinci has quite possibly the most Italian name I've ever heard.
Oh, God.
Stefano Molinari.
Oh, yeah, Molinari. Yeah, he's actually done other stuff. He's been around for a while.
He looked like somebody.
Oh, God, it was... Jason Mantzoukas.
Yeah, we thought it was Jason Mantzoukas.
With the beard and stuff, he looked like Jason Mantzoukas. I was from the get-go in this movie with the narration, which was William Conrad, who was fantastic. It just, everything hit wrong.
Well, Conrad
hit wrong.
I think he was in Cannon.
Yeah.
And I think he was in Jake and the Fat Man. I think he was the Fat Man.
Oh, actually, yeah, I think you're right.
I'm the fat man. Jake, come here. Help me get out of this chair. I'm a fat man. Oh, I'm having trouble breathing. I'm a fat guy.
It's just so sad. It made me sad. Unlike Howard the Duck. Howard the Duck at least was kind of okay, whatever.
Howard the Duck was... Well, when the problem is the writer and the director, you can forgive the actors and you can enjoy them enjoying themselves.
Right.
But when it's the star that
no one can say no to?
Right.
Ugh.
It is so gross. It is so gross when a star gets to that point, and so many of them have. Whether it's... We don't need to list them. Whether it's Barbra Streisand, or whether it's him, or whether it's any sort of star that just gets way too big in their head and thinks that they are the film.
Right.
Once you come out of your trailer and you say, "Look, you son of a bitch, I am this movie,"
yeah.
it's over.
Yeah. That's not how filmmaking's made.
No.
It's not an autocracy. You have to. Everybody has to work together, and everything is for the benefit of making the movie better.
Right.
And if you think you only have the best ideas, got news for you. You don't.
And it seems like most of this movie was making Bruce Willis look cooler or funnier or this or that. And it, in some ways, took the charm of David Addison, his moonlighting character, and took that away because the thing about David Addison is at the core, at the heart, he's a great person.
Right.
A very caring person. Right. And a passionate person. Yeah. And there was no passion.
No,
there was nothing.
His motivations didn't make any sense. He gets out of prison. He's been in prison for like 10 plus years. He gets out. Oh, his bar is not the bar it used to be. And it's like, well, it's successful.
It's
and
making money.
You own half of it.
Yeah.
And you just want to leave and go do something else?
I need to get a job.
It's why?
I gotta get a job. I'm gonna go down and work at a car place or whatever.
Yeah,
and it's like, why?
It's like, what? You're a businessman.
Yes.
You literally had the greatest gift given to you when you left prison for 10 plus years.
And then his parole officer is like, you're going to do this job or you're going back to prison.
Yeah.
And it's just, that's the laziest, the corrupt parole officer is such a lazy trope. And then it's like, well, how did he get involved with the CIA?
Well, and this crazy, the Mayflowers and like all this craziness. They had to have Bruce Willis do it. And then it turned out they didn't. Like
he didn't even do it.
He turned down the last heist.
Well,
and then
they faked his dad.
But then they just got the thing anyway.
Yeah.
It was like, well, you didn't actually need him in the first place.
Well, the thing that they said is if he would have done it, the guards wouldn't have died. So they basically killed the 12 guards that they talked about to get the thing. And so blame to you. Those deaths are on you.
But it's so obvious from the billionaires that are like, well, we're just doing this because what else can we do? We got nothing else to do. We're just going to take over the world. Why do they care if 12 people die?
They're billionaires already. And that's 90s, man. Being a billionaire in the 90s was actually rare.
Yeah.
There was only a couple of them. And so they wanted to create all this gold through alchemy.
Yeah.
And then flood the market and destroy the world's economy.
Yeah.
But for what reason?
Everything, the introduction of their characters, of the Mayflowers, where they're like, obviously this is a fake. Like, Bruce Willis was so confused. I stole it, and it's not there. And then they walk, $100 million! And it's like, okay, and then she's like, $100 million in one. Why? And then they turn around and just blow it up anyway. It's like, none of it made sense.
No, it did not. And, look, the singing thing.
Yeah.
Was like, I get the, you know what we gotta do?
It's clever.
We gotta have him sing. And it's like,
it's timings.
But what is he, on the spectrum? He knows every single song?
He did, so he must be.
It was just like, and then, okay, so then they're singing it, would you rather be a fish? A fish is an animal who live by the boom. And then they rob the thing.
Yeah.
They're still in the thing. There's still guards around.
Yeah. And then they're singing at the top of their lungs. Let's finish the song.
And then they're like, shh. And then they all saw them. It just... You have to have some sort of ground rules for your movie. You have to have...
Yes. If you don't follow the rules of your own movie, your movie is not good.
No, because... And I know. Because there's a stupid part with them... on the skateboards.
Yeah. Danny Aiello makes a big dramatic motion of throwing their way of getting off the roof to the other building off. I'm covering our tracks. Okay, well, what are you going to do with the skateboards?
Where do they come from? And
they weren't in their backpacks.
And they're like, who cares? It's just like a Looney Tunes movie. When did Daffy Duck pull something out? Who knows? Who cares? But it's just, we care, and we know.
Yeah.
And it's when you do things as gags just for gag's sake, people know it and they get it. And it's
and it's not, you can do gags, but they have to
be funny.
Be fun. Number
Serve
one,
the
be
story.
funny. And number two, follow the rules you've established in the movie.
Right.
Like, you can't suddenly have your character, Bruce Willis, stuck bouncing up and down and not knowing how to stop. Where was the precedent for that? It doesn't make any sense.
Why was that left in the movie? It was not funny. It was not.
It was just weird.
It was just basically Looney Tunes. And
Yeah.
I absolutely adore Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
And if you're going to make a silly comedy that has Looney Tunes-esque physical comedy,
Right.
great. But you have to establish that. Then you can't like shoot people and blow people up and have real violence.
Yeah. Yes. It doesn't. It just doesn't know what it wants to be.
No. And it doesn't really care. I just feel like this is a star out of control.
Yeah.
And there was a period in Bruce Willis's career where he was out of control.
Yeah.
He was on top of the world, man.
Yeah.
A number 2 single. But he was making albums. He had a hit
he had
TV show, hit
huge
movies.
I mean, by that point, the Die Hard movies had made probably $800 million.
Yeah.
I mean, he was huge.
Yes.
But too much power, man. What is it? Absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Well, don't believe your own hype.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the main thing. Don't believe your own hype. Because if you read the good reviews, you got to read the bad reviews.
Maybe this was the beginning of Bruce Willis realizing this, because I feel like as he got older, he was less like that.
Well, because he made so many bad choices. Or his agents did. I mean, name me like 5 good Bruce Willis movies after 1996.
Mercury Rising?
No. Well, there's The Sixth Sense, maybe. And
Sixth Sense.
And Unbreakable.
Unbreakable was good. Working with the right director. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Pulp Fiction, but that was before.
94. Yeah.
But look, I love Bruce Willis. I've seen probably everything that he's done.
Yeah,
The good,
yeah.
the bad, and everything in between. And out of all of the movies, and there's a lot of stinks.
Yeah.
A lot of stinks.
Yeah.
But this one stinks the most to me because it's his fault.
I know. It's so this is why I don't like this movie.
Yeah.
Because it was so disappointing, because it could have been so good.
Right.
If he had allowed the people to do their jobs, it would have been a good watchable movie.
You can enjoy Howard T. Duck. So I'm going to refer to it from now on.
Howard T. Duck, yeah.
On certain levels, because
Yeah.
you know everybody was trying. You
Right.
know that it was probably a lot of like the duck problems. You know,
Yeah.
you can see where things went wrong, and
Yeah.
you can still enjoy certain parts of it because you know it's a plucky group of people trying to get something done,
Right,
and they don't
right.
quite get it.
Right.
This is a star sabotaging his own movie because
So
of his ego,
So stupid.
and that's the grossest thing
Yeah.
in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Is the grossest thing is that we pump people up to the point where they believe that they're superhumans.
Yeah. They're more. Yeah. They're more than they are.
They're better,
Yeah.
and then we spend the rest of their career tearing them down.
Yeah.
To
That's
say
so
that they're a piece of
stupid. It's
ass.
so stupid. We're awful people.
We are.
We're awful.
We're awful. They're awful.
Well-
Hudson Hawk is awful.
Next week will be more interesting because it's essentially Hollywood trying to sabotage a star.
Yes.
So I'm curious to see how that goes.
This is my theory on this, and we've talked about this before, but I think that The Last Action Hero was sacrificed by the studios to rein in the pay
Yeah.
for
Yes,
huge
huge
superstars.
superstars, yeah,
And
yeah.
for big direct, that it was getting out of control. Writers were getting too much in their mind. Like,
Of course.
Not in my
of course,
mind.
everybody's paid too much in Hollywood's mind, or the
so-
executives' minds.
So I'm pretty sure that they sabotaged this film
Yeah.
to kind of put a reset on these big old
Yeah.
blockbusters. And it really did kind of reset the whole
It did,
pay
yeah,
structure
yeah.
and the way that those things were made.
I'm really excited to cover it. It'll be much. I definitely like it a lot more than Hudson Hawk.
It's a definite guilty pleasure. I'm really excited. It's been a while since I've seen
Same,
The Last Action
same.
Hero. But it's just, there is no more charming movie star than Arnold.
Oh,
really.
no. He is a movie star.
And he is the biggest movie star that we've had probably in my lifetime.
Oh, yeah,
Like our
yeah.
movie star.
I agree.
And deservedly so, in my opinion. I mean, the
Right.
guy worked his ass off to get to where he is.
Oh, yeah.
And he understands his audience. He understands his role.
Right.
One of the most fun things about The Last Action Hero is Arnold poking fun at himself.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
being in Shakespeare.
He's willing.
Being,
yeah.
all the stuff that
He's
they said he
willing
couldn't
to do this. Yeah.
He's game, and he was game for this. The kid was good. It didn't deserve all the hate.
I
think
agree. I
think
agree.
it's a more, this Last Action Hero I think is more akin to like Mars Attacks, where it was misunderstood,
Right.
rather than a Hudson Hawk where the star destroyed it,
Right.
or a Howard T. Duck where just the world destroyed it.
It was just, yeah.
Fate destroyed it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, look, You don't got to watch Hudson Hawk. We watched it for you.
Yeah, don't. Just don't.
There's
it's,
not-
it's hard to find. Not worth trying to find it.
Look, it is. Is it interesting? Of course. I mean, it's interesting to see a lot of these actors when they're younger. The performances of Andrew Bjarnarski and other people are fun, but it's not enough fun that
No.
you're going to step away from it and be like,
The only reason I would say to watch this is if you're a completist. If you're a Bruce Willis completist, then watch it.
Yeah.
But you only need to watch it once and then never watch it again.
it's crazy. Yeah.
All right.
Oh, we forgot about Ig and Oog.
Oh, yeah. Ig and Ook.
Ig and Ook, the twins.
The twins. Yeah. If
Douglas
they only
Bryant.
say one line during the whole movie, and it's right as they die, they both say, or one of them says Ig, the other one says Ook.
Were they in other stuff too?
Probably.
I don't know. Anyway, yeah. Look, stay away if you want to watch Die Hard 4. It's
Yeah.
coming up on.
Yeah.
We had July 4th.
Yeah, yeah.
Watch
Die Hard 4. Watch any of the Die Hard movies.
except for the last.
Yes. Not the
2.
last one. Or 2.
Yeah.
God, how
Once
many
his
there
son
were a
starts,
lot of
once
them,
Michael
weren't there?
Jai or
Yeah.
Jai Courtney,
Michael J.
whatever his name.
Yeah.
Well, Michael Jai White is amazing. Jai Courtney, not so much.
J. Court.
Jay,
Yeah.
spelled like Jai.
I know.
I hate it.
It's another reason to not like it.
Hollywood, you
All right,
bunch
anyway.
of bastards.
We'll see you next week.
You got your horse right here. His name is Paul Revere. It was really like it was a.
It's like you're in Hudson Hawk. Nuremberg, starring Rami Malek. Wow. Rami Malek. Russell Crowe. I'm going to say it again. Nuremberg, starring Rami.
We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, already in progress.